Hey, Shaggy SoCal with 2Old4Forza. So stand by. I'm going to resync audio and video. Okay, and then we're back. And I'm looking slightly disappointed in myself because again, I should almost make like a checklist of like, here's all the things I need to prep before I start streaming. And I just realized that in the previous stream, I didn't set up a party chat to try and take care of stuttering audio. So I'm not going to go back and redo the Brains Hatch one, but it is what it is. But hopefully the audio would be better here since I remembered to actually, and I don't know why this works the way it does, but start my own private party for game chat. That seems to resolve any of the stuttering audio issues. So I apologize if there's stuttering audio in the previous stream. Won't know, won't be able to check that until later. But be that as it may, so second race for upcoming week for round 8, I guess. I keep that detailed track there. Is Brands Hatch's Grand Prix circuit. Of the two, I think I'm looking for more forward to this one than Bugatti. But this one, I think Brands is a bit more challenging as far as that whole risk reward uh, aspect of it. I think Brands is a little more, if you take a little bit more risk, the better reward, but it's also a lot easier to go off. So again, same format. I want to go out and run a couple of laps. I'll do a kind of slow turn by turn track guide, part of it track walk, kind of talking about what I think the car is going to do and where issues are going to be. Pretty much the same places we always have issues. And then I'll just run the mock practice race and see how we do. All right, so let's go ahead and test drive. So love Brands Hatch, this wonderful flowing circuit as far as elevation changes, turns, a couple of sharp turns here you want to be careful of. There's also some awkward, what I would consider awkward weight transfers to be careful of. So heading down here to Grand Hill Bend, this is one of the ones. This is one of my trouble areas, especially when I take, no, actually I didn't take too much curve there. Heading to Surtees. I am actually trying to learn the corner names, especially in the back half of the course here. So I think this next bend here is Hawthorne. Quick break down to 4th, turn in, roll in here, and I think this is Westfield. And yes, I am slightly cheating because I do have a printed track map to my left here, but I think that's Sheen into, and this is one I forget what it is. I'll have to cheat and look. And down the final straight towards Clear Rays into Clark Corner and the final turn on the front straightaway. Let's do one more lap here. So 4th gear, 5th gear. Kind of brake, release just past the blend line. 4th gear, into the compression, up towards Druids. Down, I think 2nd gear, unfortunately, is the one we're going to have to use here. Out of Druids. Short shift up to 3rd. Brake right before the curbing for Graham Hill here. Surtees, I take a much different line than what the game suggests. I think it works on my own. I think it's more comfortable. Certainly, if I try to do that with somebody behind me, I'm opening the door pretty wide for them to try and put their nose in and make a pass. So 4th gear, stay in 4th. I'm going to use as much curbing as I can get away with there. And Sheen here, this is the one I think we're going to have the most trouble with as far as getting as far as getting the turning, the braking, the turning, and like that without going off. And stay in fourth. Don't downshift. Keep it in fourth. And roll into the throttle. So that's Brands Hatch. Let's go ahead and just slow this down a little bit. So heading to Paddock Hill Bend, turn one. Braking for me is, I mean the signboards. Whoop, again, I hit the wrong button because it's controller reflex. I hit X and thinking to downshift and like no, that's I got to use the paddle shifter because I've got a wheel. So I'm going to back it up here a little bit. So braking for Paddock Hill Bend. On the left side there, you kind of see you've got the two, you've got the two and the one. The two, I think, is at least for me at the two board, and the orange just passed it. I think that's still a little bit too soon. I mean, you can brake there; it's a little bit early, but certainly as you're working up speed or working up confidence, that might be a good thing to reference as far as correlate with the braking line. Um, the one board is way too late. So I'm braking just about, and I think I've done this before with other cars. You can kind of see here, let me pull the controller and I can turn it. You can see what looks to be, you can see that little extra bit of catch fence there that's angled out and what looks to be a porta potty. No, it's not. That's a corner worker stand. Looks like a porta potty at speed, a windowed porta potty at that. But usually, I think that's probably what I'm going to be. When I get to speed, that's what I'm going to be referencing most. As far as, yeah, I'm looking. I am going to be looking at the braking. I'm going to be trying to look into the corner. But as far as peripherally, if something going just out of view, you know, I'll probably use that catch fence as the reference. But wherever you brake, the braking it is kind of, it's not a threshold straight line. You're going to want to turn the car in a little bit so that you're braking kind of diagonally across the track to the inside of turn one here for Paddock Hill Bend. What I'm finding is that whatever braking or wherever you decided to brake, I'm releasing the brake just as I pass the blend line for pit lane or for pit out. So and it's a downshift. You're in fifth gear. I'm downshifting to fourth. I think you can do this in fourth comfortably. I don't think you need to put it in third. I'd only put it in third is if I'm in traffic and I have to check up a little bit, or if I want to manage a gap to try and get the run out of Paddock Hill Bend up the hill. But I think fourth is fine. Wide entry, release, balance the throttle, just get in, kiss the curb a little bit, start to roll back into the throttle. You get a little bit more compression, but I was worried that the compression here at Paddock Hill Bend with this car just the way it is might do some wonky things. I mean, there's some cars where you get enough compression on the front with any kind of steering in it, the car lurches. Not so. This one, especially because you'll be unwinding the wheel a little bit. Don't worry about the compression here. I'm going to try and stay off the exit curbing as much as I can. So this is one neat and tidy. If you're going to get tires on it, just barely get tires on, but also again, just be careful. Even if you're full throttle, just be careful that you don't spin that outside rear tire to the point then where it hooks the car across the track. Hasn't happened to me yet, but doesn't mean it couldn't. So fourth gear heading up the hill towards Druids. As always, I'm using, as far as static reference points, depending on the car, it's always for me, obviously the Falcon Bridge there is the first thing. It's the easiest thing to see. With this Ferrari, you're going to want to brake right before it. I'm actually using the orange colored end of the Armco as my additional reference. So brake here. I've been trying this for Druids in third. I actually think you really need to do it in second. But this one it is a hairpin. If you want to take a traditional line in, you can take a wide line in. I think on my own, I'm actually going to try and take a wide entry and try to late apexes this as much as possible. Bring the car out. So I may not go all the way out to the left side. I may maybe just go just past mid track. We'll see how it works out in the race. But this next corner, so let me just look at my map again to make sure I've got it right. Yeah, so Graham Hill Bend here down at the bottom of the hill. This is one of the several trouble areas I have problems getting consistent. Just by the nature of it, you're out here on the left side, you're coming down the hill, but it's a left kink, then into the Graham Hill Bend, which is a left turn. And I'm always it's getting the car set. I want to get the car back over, to the right side, and I kind of want the weight balance on the car as even as possible before I'm hitting the brakes for Graham Hill Bend. And it's always a bit of a trick because if I go do too if I'm too late, let me just kind of go down the hill, just kind of show you both ways. Like if I hug the inside here and I wait until I get to here to brake, I've got a little bit of steering in, and it's possible then, because the other thing with this car, when you get into heavy braking, you do lose a little bit of steering. The car's going to push. You might notice it here. You'll definitely notice on the back half of the course. Um, so what I'm trying to do is, like, this might be a little late. I'm still angled a bit out to the outside here. Ideally, I'd like to be turned a little more parallel with the outside line, so that when I get to the brake, the car's settled and even. So what I'm probably going to try and do is when I get out of Paddock Hill, or when I get out of Paddock Hill Bend, when I get out of Druids, when I exit Druids, I probably will bring the car back over sooner, so as I get to the braking, I'm a little bit, I'm still angled out a little bit, but it's certainly a little closer to parallel with the outside line than hugging the inside and just letting the kink carry the car back across the track. I think that'll help. We'll see how it goes in the races. Again, it's one of those. If I'm consistent, it's because it's if I'm consistent, I'm consistently inconsistent. So we'll see how I do in the race. But ideally, have the car out here on the if you do it right, you'll have the car out here on the right side. Uh, let's see. If I'm third gear coming out, I don't know that I'll be up to fourth. But I think for Graham Hill Bend here, this is a third gear corner. You're going to brake just before the curbing. At least I'm pretty sure braking just before the curbing on the right side. Keep it in third. Roll the car in, and I'm going to try and use as much of the inside curbing as the game's going to let me get away with. Um, Ideally, I want to try and late apex this if I can, just to kind of square up the corner, give me a straighter line out. That's going to allow me to really be a little bit more aggressive on the throttle. But also, I'm probably really not going to commit to throttle until I'm off that inside curbing. Again, Forza 7, only single point of contact with tires at 60 hertz. It's not going to be like what we're going to get in the next game. But on the exit here, rolling back onto the throttle, you can, in lower class cars, like when we were here in the CRX or like that, or even the Falcon, it's like, yeah, go ahead and abuse the curbing here and use the runoff if you need to on the exit. This car, not so much. I would try and keep it neat and tidy. And if you're going to get on the curb, just get on the painted portion of it, but really don't severely cross over. Again, it's probably enough of a difference in uh, in grip and you know bumps. There's the word. Use my words. Um, to get bringing the car back across on the track, it might upset the car. So if you can be neat and tidy, be neat and tidy. So heading down here towards Surtees. For me, this is a late braking. I am kind of relying the brake markers here on the outside. Hopefully, they'll still be there during the race, and also the signboards here. But I'm braking probably just as I get to the one board there, and this is also, I do differ from the suggested line. On my own, I will differ from the suggested line. I will keep it wide out here, and I will just do a threshold brake in a straight line, releasing just as I get. I'm already turning in a little bit, but I'm probably going to be releasing the brake and really turning in as I get to this Tag Heuer sign on the outside. So release the brake, turn in, still taking a wider entry than what the suggested line suggests, guidelines. But what I'm trying to do is late apex this one as late as I can. Ideally, it's if you can notice how the curbing changes, where you got the thicker curbing here at the kind of the meat of the corner, but then it kind of goes to the thin curbing. I'm probably going to be aiming for the thin curbing as far as like if I'm going to touch the inside there, that's kind of about where I'm apexing. And then I'm going to try and roll back to the throttle as early as I can and get the car straightened out on this side. Even with that line for me, it's possible to maybe carry too much momentum out, or not, or unwind the steering too soon and then get the right sides on the curbing. Be careful of that; it'll upset the car. So just crack the throttle a little bit, get back on the track, and go. The other thing I've learned here as well, especially if you get tires all the way off in the grass, it is going to be enough. If you try to go full throttle, it's going to totally upset the car. So if you drop tires off into the grass, exiting Surtees, your best bet is just get to half throttle. Just to half throttle. You don't have to come completely out. I'd say a little bit of throttle, not full throttle. Just bring the car, get all the tires back on, get all your tires back onto the track, and then go roll back into full throttle. Don't try and if you try to go full throttle too soon before you get on track, you're going to get a bit of a tank slapper, and you might who knows, you might wind up careening across the other side of the track, depending, and also your force feedback settings too may impact that. So heading down towards Hawthorne. So again, the natural kink of the track, just let the car naturally come back across the left. Not a lot of steering there. You're going to be fifth gear. Getting down the drop here. As you come up, for me, with the braking line, it is kind of correlates with the orange barrier, orange colored Armco there. For me, it's a quick breakdown to fourth gear, and I'm still trying to get the turn in right. I'll start turning it in. I think I'm still turning in a little bit early, but ideally, this is another one. It's a late apex. Um, you can, the intent, if you do it right, you just want to kiss the curbing late as you're coming off the corner, and then you can roll back into the throttle. That curbing is enough that if you just kiss it, it will push the car to the left a little bit. Just be aware of it. It's not a sudden snappy thing or like that. You just feel the car move to the left. You may just be feathering the throttle a little bit, or if you're still partial throttle, just wait for the car to set back in, then roll back into full. So still fourth gear here. Bring the car out to the left side. Still going to be in fourth gear here. The braking I'm looking for with the braking line, I'm also kind of using that orange Armco on the inside as kind of the extra reference point. This corner, I say you could do it in fourth or third. I think my preference is going to be fourth. The car just feels a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more compliant. If you're late for your braking, drop it to third, just to give you a little bit more. That'll put the car on its toes a little bit more. You get a little benefit from the gearing, the high revs to help slow the car down. But either case, I'm going to try to use and abuse this inside curbing. I'm going to try and use as much of it as I can. Then I'll probably turn it a little bit early here as an example, but late turn in, third or fourth gear. If you're in third, you'll upshift it to fourth, bring it out here. I'm going to try and keep it neat and tidy off the edge there. Now, heading up to this is, let me just, so that's Westfield we're just talking about. So we've got, I gotta love the Brits in their names. So this next downhill and heading back uphill, according to the track map, is called Dingledale. So I don't know who. I'd love to know why they call it that. But now we're heading up to turn 7, Sheen Curve. To me, this is the hardest turn for me to get right consistently. It's one of those that'll probably take me 5 or 6 laps to get into rhythm. But not Dingledale, what Sheen Curve is, one of the things I'm looking for is on my own as I'm coming out of Westfield and I'm getting back up to speed, because the braking line is relative as far as its coloration, you'll see then the red kind of, stretch out as you increase speed. There's a little hint of a yellow. It'll be like red, and there's this like little hint of yellow before it goes red again. So it's kind of like red just as you're coming up the hill, that spot of yellow, then really red for Sheen Curve. I'm trying to spot that if I can, just to give me a quick reference, because that's about where I want to be, following the suggested line, braking for Sheen Curve. But without that, what I'm looking for heading down the hill here is I'm looking for that first inside braking board. As a kind of a target, I want to try and get the car to the inside as I come up the hill, using that as the apex. And if I've done it right, I'm still kind of pointed. You can see the way the car is oriented. If I don't do any additional steering, I'm kind of pointed towards the outside. It's this next inside orange Armco barrier that I'm kind of looking at. That's kind of lines up with where that yellow spot will be if you see it early on. That's what I'm kind of looking for as the breaking point for Sheen Curve. And I'm still, it's going to take me a bit. I will probably, in the demo race, it wouldn't surprise me if I go wide the first couple of laps. But what I'm trying to do is use that as the braking. And because the car's still kind of pointed this way, this is where I said when you get to the brakes, you're going to notice the car's going to understeer. When you get to the brakes, you're going to notice it here because you're going to be wanting to steer, get the car you're ready to turn right. But as you're braking, it's going to push. The braking, the car's going to understeer a little bit. But what I'm trying to do is I'm going to brake. I think you can do it in fourth gear. I'm going to try and do it in fourth. It might be one of those fourth gear if you get it right. Third gear if you really need to get the car slowed down and turned. Um, but it is a rhythm thing because even here, you still you really can't see the apex of the corner until you're practically right on top of it. So what I'm trying to do is use kind of that little kink here to the left to get the car, to get the braking done. So by the time I release the brakes, I can turn in and start rolling back into the throttle, use as bit of the inside curve as I can. It is a rhythm. That is a rhythm corner. It's probably going to take me a few laps to get it consistent. But that's what I'm intending to do. So if you're in third gear, at this point, if you're in third gear, you can wind third gear out heading down to, what's the name of this one? To Sterling's. That's the name of the corner. So you can wind out in third gear heading down to Sterling's. If you're in fourth gear, you're fine as well because you'll be carrying momentum. So I'm following the braking line. I think the braking's somewhere right about here. This is definitely third gear corner for Sterling's. This is one of the nice corners where you do get, they have we've got a little benefit of banking going in, and it's not a severe crown on the exit. So, but you do have to be careful of the curbing on the inside, depending on when you hit it and how hard you hit it, and how much steering you have in there. That is enough where it might hook the car a little bit if you get too far to the inside, especially as you're trying to roll back into power. So I would say third gear brake release, let the car roll into the corner after you get on the apex. And as you come off the apex, that's when you can probably start rolling back into the throttle. Let the car come out to the right side. Great. Heading down towards clearways into Clark Corner. Let the car come back across the left. Probably be in fourth gear. I don't know that you'll get to fifth. Braking for me is right about here, just kind of about where the orange Armco is. Coloring there is on the left side where the tires start. That's what I'm using in addition to the braking line as the reference. You don't need to downshift. If you're in fourth gear, just brake, downshift. Probably let off the brake as you get about to here. Just let the car roll into the corner. Roll back in, let the car just on its way out, go all the way out to the left side, bring it back, and you're back onto the front stretch, heading towards Paddock Hill Bend. That's Brands Hatch in the Ferrari 312 T2. So that's kind of, again, that's kind of what my intentions are, what I think will work with this car. Again, as we've learned, this car does not like curbing, so the less you can get on them, the better. But I think, between this and Bugatti, I kind of like, I like driving Brands more. So it's a much more fun track, at least for me. So let's go ahead and finish the test drive, and we will go into the mock race. So for the mock race, again, I'm not going to change anything as far as the class of the cars or the time delays I'm driving against. I'm guesstimating we are going to be doing about a 20. I'm going to guess 24 laps. We'll see what the end timer comes up with. It's going to be in and around there. It might be a lap or two less. It might be, I don't think it'll be a lap or two more, but we'll see what the end timer looks like. And just for kicks and giggles, again, because I've got all those mod cards, it's like that I've never used once I got out of career mode. We're going to try and stay on track for the race. Doubtful, um, but at least I give myself one little carrot that's like I should be able to stay on track for at least one lap. We'll see about the race. Let's go ahead and get started. So if this is your first time watching the track guides, when I do these mock races, I try to simulate as close as I can with the AI and the different divisions what I would have during the actual Thursday night Thunder races. We do bucket out the drivers based off relative pace with delays and like that. I think we've exceeded what Forza can do. Sometimes, like this season, I'm starting like a minute and a half back in most cases. So for my bucket one, that'll be the same division this car's in the Formula 70s. We'll let them go. But 30 seconds after them will be the Forza P2 division. Um, both of those classes I should be quicker than over the course of the lap, so they're going to act as jam cars. Give me traffic to work through, help me practice my my questionable racecraft. And then starting about 2 seconds behind me, I've got the Forza P1 cars. Oh, I've got a Peugeot. Looks like Peugeot, and is that another Audi? Peugeot and two Audis. And I'm worried about the Peugeot because in previous seasons when I've had to race against the Peugeot, it's very argy-bargy. But they're back there. They should be quicker than me, especially early on when they don't have a lot of traffic. So hopefully that will force me to do a little defensive driving so I can kind of sort out, what lines I can take and what this car can do. A little conservative here on this first couple of corners until the tires warm up. Car do the work. So look for that yellow spot in the braking line up ahead. See it? That's the danger with Sheen, is getting the brakes. You get to the brakes too late, or you're too far to the left, and you just go off. So we're probably all going to have issues there during the race. So it looks like I did get up to fifth gear and down clearways, but fourth gear into Clark there. It's like one of the P1 cars decided to pit early. There's third gear. So third gear's it's not horrible. And that's me looking down at the track map. That's me looking down at the track map going, wait, where are the P1 cars? I thought they were right there. And it doesn't take much to drop a tire and spin the car out. All right, let's see if I can do this better this time. So that's me being a little bit more conservative, really hugging the right side, getting into the braking. It's probably not the quickest way through that corner, but it's relatively safe. A little too much to the inside. A little bit late. Oh, what was that? Sorry, I don't know if that came through the head, will come through on the Twitch, but the headset gave me a little wonk wonk there, and I don't know what that means. That was an alert or something, or maybe because I haven't charged this headset, in a little bit that maybe it's warning me that it's going to run out of juice. Well, if it shuts off, I'll punt. Too far out. Back at the third. Ah, wait, that might be the better line. Where there are times that, I'll talk about what I'm trying to do, but then when I get into it, I'm like, oh, there's a better way. So I'll try and talk about what I think might be a little bit better here in the next lap. Late to the brakes there. Work to the inside. Let's see if I can make this pass work. Nope. Carry a little bit more speed in, but I think I can carry more speed out. What I think might work better for Sheen is just kind of opening, instead of trying to take it very diagonally, is open it up. Maybe just try to keep it a little more to the left so that you can see the car's a little bit straighter. It's a comfort thing. Because it's so easy to go too wide there, I've always tried to hug the inside a little bit more, but maybe with this car, keeping it mid-track or a little bit to the left and squaring it up with the outside of the corner is better. I wasn't going to be able to stick it past there, and it's the Bronner Hawk, so I know that Big Turbo doesn't get up to speed as quick, but he's going to move across there. So we're going to look on the inside. Nope, I'm looking on the inside. Excuse me. Still there, so I got to leave some room on the outside. All right, so let's try to keep it about mid-track. Keep it out here. Yeah, see, that's the problem. So again, I don't know what to tell you about Sheen. Just find the line that works best for you and keeps you on track. So, So I'm not going to be able to make a pass here, so I'm just going to take my normal line. Crossover on exit. It's still kind of there. Oh, look at that defensive line. That I don't compliment the driver tires often, but that actually was a pretty solid defensive line through there. There's the danger of third gear out of Clark if you get too aggressive back to the throttle. So that's why just fourth gear is probably best for it. Take a look. Brake a little bit earlier. He's leaving me just enough room. All right, can't hold the inside. Yeah, not a good place to pass there. But I can get him down to Surtees. I'm going to hold it inside a little bit longer just because he might try and carry speed on the outside, and he doesn't, so clear on. That was a little sketchy. I'm a little worried that I was going to get the right sides on the grass. Yep, I'm there. Okay, looks like I got some clear traffic here for a couple of laps. See if I can stitch a couple of quick ones together. A little early. That's the other danger with Sterling. Is as you start building up speed, you just got to be careful getting the right side tires too far out and just get them on the grass under braking. It's enough to pitch the car sideways. Too much curb. I was worried that I was going to upset the car. A little bit early there, I think. Yeah, I'm still turning in early there. A little bit out of the groove. Try to be as smooth as I can be. I can do Hawthorne in fifth. I think it's a little bit low in the rev range on the exit, but that's my personal opinion. Missed the braking there. I do love Brands Hatch. It's a little challenging at times. Could have gotten back to the throttle a little bit sooner, but we're going to pit this lap. Let's just be nice and consistent. Alright, so pit lane, if I remember correctly. We'll just keep it in fourth. Crank a little bit more. Head in. Drop it to third. Take out the tires. And in we go. So that's all. Yeah, pit entry for Brands Hatch is always going to be fun. It's a question of who's going to be the first one to take out the tire bundle. So the exit, again, puts us right out on the inside for Paddock Hill Bend, which is great. Let's just see what gear we're in. First gears, just pop it to second, just hold it to the inside, and then just roll back into the throttle. So it should be a pretty easy out in the car. Just remember, first gear, it's going to release you in first gear, so just get it to second and just be gentle with the throttle until you get kind of back on track. Unlike that. I have mentioned that I can't talk and drive at the same time. Alright, so we've rejoined in almost last place, but that's fine because, it's a mix of, between the bucket delays and, everybody has to make a pit stop. Some already have, some have not. A bit wide there. Not going to get the Penske Porsche into the final turn. But again, great handling car, just doesn't seem to have the straight line as the other P2 cars. So I will just slide by him on the outside. Oh, whoa, wow! What? Oh my God, what happened there? I was, again, it got caught, excuse me. That Lotus seems to be having a little bit of trouble. All right, I'm going to take a look at the inside of the Brabham, but I know he's going to sweep on the outside. Drop it to second, hug the inside. I don't know what happened there. My guess is that there was probably a collision on I'm gonna hazard a guess that the Lotus came out of the pits into traffic, and the driver tires were not that respectful to each other. And there was no local yellow flags for me to know that something was going on. Of course, I was looking to see where the Porsche was behind me. Okay, well, hopefully we will not have any more issues like that. Or at least if we do, I'm a little bit better at avoiding them. I got the Ford there. Yeah, just be a little careful getting to full throttle out of Surtees there. You could tell like the back end, even in third gear, still wants to kick out a little bit. All right, so got a stack of cars in front of me. Got cars in the pit lane. Could be another cluster. Got to run on the Audi and the push. That's a little bit dangerous. Inside. Over here, excuse me. Excuse me, Mr. Brabham. I'm going to take a look here. Drop it to third because I know he's probably going to be there. Yep, got by him. Audi followed me through. That's not the quickest way through that corner. I'm actually surprised that I was able to salvage that. And I want to look on the inside. Hopefully, yep, that's what I was expecting. I'm going to drop to third just because I'm way on the inside. Take a look on the Bronner Hawk. I will wait. I'll get him out of Graham Hill here. Should be able to outrun him down to Surtees. A little early. I was tempted to go to the left side of the McLaren, but it was right at that point that the natural racing line brings you back across. Ooh, that was a little bit of a defensive move. Excuse me. I can get the run down to Clark here. Going a little bit wide, so just gentle with the throttle, let the car do the work. I went in pretty far on the inside, and the car just pushed a little extra wide. Oh, he took a look. I just saw him dive, and it's just like, oh, he's taking a look on the inside. That's the other danger there with Graham Hill Bend there, is getting the right sides off in the gravel. Take a look. Down to third. Leave some room on the outside. Still there. It's like if the arrow's orange and I don't see him in the rear view, then it's like I have to leave a car width on the inside, or whichever side I think they're on. I was late for the braking, so put it in third, help get the car slow down. I'm assuming, based off the interval, that the two leading cars have yet to make their quick stop. Question is, I didn't pay attention to how long we're in the pits for, but I'm assuming at this point I probably, well, by the time they pit, I probably have them covered. A little bit wide. Actually surprised that I'm this far in the lead at this point. I know I'm quicker than the two classes in front of me that I've set up, but I didn't think I would overhaul them this this badly. Usually it's try to get it so it's a little bit closer, but 2.5 laps left. We'll just get this finished out. I didn't catch the tenths, but let's see if we can. Let's see how quick we can go here. A little bit late or a little bit early. Just exit wasn't when it should have been. A little bit off the apex there. But again, this line, if I can get the machine without crashing or without going off, I'll take it. I don't know why I downshifted to third there, but I didn't need to do that. Okay, so 119.6. Let's see if we can knock a couple of tenths off of it. I would have if I hadn't messed up the gearing on the previous lap there out of Clark. Oh, it's a little wide. Salvage it. Okay, keep it in fourth. Keep it in fourth. There we go. And we're just going to hug the inside, just, get that couple extra thousandths. Oh, it wasn't quicker. Or if it was barely quicker. But that's Brands Hatch in this 1976 Ferrari 312 T2. So again, out of the two races, this is the one I think I like Brands Hatch more than I like Bugatti. But both races should, they'll be interesting. I think it's mostly just taking advantage of other people's mistakes more than just being outright faster. So with that, I'm going to call it an evening. I think, Formula One races. Well, for me, since I don't get up at the early morning hours to go watch, I think the F1 race replay is on. So I think we're going to catch that. So hope you guys have a great weekend. Have a great week. We'll see you on Thursday. Happy racing.